I am Erica Vervo, and I help Nomadic Matt run this shebang. And Matt's already here with us. We have him here today talking about travel hacking, one of my absolute favorite topics. So I'm very excited for this, and I'm excited for you guys to be here. And while I share a few slides about what the Nomadic Network is, I would love for you to utilize the chat and drop in where you're calling in from, what number event this is for you with TNN, and also, like, are you a beginner, intermediate, or expert level travel hacker, just so we can, gauge to see where everyone's starting off. I'm going to share my screen and share a little bit about the Nomadic Network with you. Can everyone see this? Yeah, perfect. Okay. So like I said, the Nomadic Network is Nomadic Matt's community meetup arm. We started last year at the end of 2019. We launched in 22 different cities around the country and around the world, and it was really great. We started this network to get travelers to connect with each other and other ideas and resources around travel so that you could travel cheaper, better, smarter, more, all the things that Nomadic Matt stands for, and we wanted to bring that into real life. And we did that, and it was awesome. We had 40 different meetups before the coronavirus hit, and since the coronavirus hit, we switched to virtual events. And it has been quite a roller coaster with the virtual events, mostly up. I don't know why I said roller coaster, honestly. It's been mostly up. We've just really loved these virtual events. Mostly because we get to connect speakers that are located in all different parts of the world with people located in all different parts of the world. That's why we love asking you where you're calling in from, because we can see where, how far we can actually reach with our travel resources and these sessions. So it's been really fun. And right now I'm in New York, Matt's in Mexico, and I can't see the chat, but I'm assuming you guys are all over. So welcome to this virtual event. We've done at least 75 of these by now. And we just have so many on the docket. Some things to keep in mind. Feel free to turn your camera on. We love to see your faces. This is a community event. You will be muted though. So if you have a question, there will be a Q&A at the end. This session is actually scheduled to be an hour and a half long because the last time we did a similar session, we had so many questions that we weren't able to get to. So we allotted time for that. So if you do have a question, feel free to type the word question into the chat so that I can curate those questions and ask them at the end. Also, feel free to use the chat to connect with each other and also share your relevant experiences. I'm assuming lots of you are travel hackers already. So if you have, ideas or suggestions, feel free to drop those in as well for the other people to read. The replays are available for Patreon members at patreon.com/nomadicmat. I wanted to just give the context for this session, which is we're here to learn, satiate your wanderlust, and have fun. We really, really stress that because it's, challenging times right now, and we want these to be a point of levity for you. And then, like I say every time, our speakers are doing this out of the kindness of their heart and the passion for sharing their knowledge. Matt is always talking about travel hacking to anyone that will listen. And so he's so excited to be here today to share this knowledge with you. And so we are very grateful for him to come on and for all of our speakers to come on. And I just wanted to share one more thing. We have an exclusive community. It's through patreon.com/nomadicmat. And it's a really cool community for you to be able to deepen your commitment to Nomadic Matt. I know we get a lot of people that tell us that they've been following Matt forever and they love to support us and be a part of what we're doing. And so this is a great way for you to do this. You not only get access to all the past and future TNN replays, you get personal stories that Matt doesn't share on his blog. You get to also help like create the future content for Nomadic Matt. He takes input from people in the Patreon community. We have lots of live Q&As. You get free signed books, guides, never before seen photos, t-shirts. You're a part of an exclusive Facebook group. There's lots of different perks for patreon.com /nomadic Matt. So we'd love to see you there, and you can just go and browse and sign up through that link. And I will stop sharing my screen now so that Matt can get started. Thank you so much.
Hey everyone, how's it going? Welcome to this call. If you can just hear me, just make sure you say thumbs up or okay, Erica can hear me. Great. So I'm going to share my screen. As Erica mentioned, last time we gave one of these, it went pretty long. So I'll be less verbose this time, and so we can stick to your questions because there were just so many of them. I'm gonna try to answer them all. So share screen. All right, I hope everyone can see this as it loads. So today we're going to talk about travel hacking, which is the art of collecting points and miles for travel programs and gaming these systems to obtain free or severely cheap travel. As Erica says, I really loved travel hacking, right? I mean, it's how, I get Erica and the rest of the team places, how I get myself places. Last year when I did my book tour, I stayed at like 100 Marriotts, and basically they were all on points. And so I think it's a really vital part of budget travel. And I think to not do this is to leave money on the table, right? Because you're spending this money anyway. So why not get rewarded for this? And we're going to talk about how you don't have, it's not like 1 point per dollar, right? Because, if you need 100,000 points, you have to spend $100,000, but that's crazy. So we're going to talk about bonus multipliers and all that. So when someone says, oh, also, because this is so pretty, I didn't do this. My PowerPoint skills are no good. Erica does all our PowerPoints. When it says they're a travel hacker, they're just rewards freak, they just love points and miles and free travel and upgrades and upgrading their travel experience, from checked bags to quicker lines to lounges. Some people I know, for me, I love redeeming for business class flights because I have trouble sleeping on long flights. Some people just love the free economy flights and just the lounge, being able to stay in the lounge. So, whatever it is. And today I just want to do a bit of terminology. I will use these terms kind of interchangeably, but miles really refer to airlines, and points are like hotels and credit card points. Why do loyalty programs exist? Because it's much easier to get a customer to come back rather than it is to acquire a new one. So in the 80s, American Airlines was the first company out there to offer a loyalty program in travel. It all started with them. And this gives you special perks like lounge access or priority boarding, free checked bags, discounted tickets, upgrades, extra points for freebies. The idea is to get you to come back. And so I don't like going back to American Airlines personally. I'm a Delta man. But being involved in all these loyalty programs allows you to move between them depending on where you're flying to and what airline you want to fly. So it's not just about being loyal to one brand, it's being loyal to all of them, in the sense that what we're really being loyal to is travel hacking, which is everyone in itself. And so how do you do this because there's so many credit cards out there. Every points program is different. All the airlines change their rules. I mean, there's so many blogs about this. Where do you even begin? And I think where people tend to go wrong is that they don't start with a goal. For me, I have my goal. I like to fly business class because I'm bougie, but also I have terrible insomnia. So I just, that's how I redeem points. I don't do hotels. I much rather stay in a hostel than anything else. And I tend domestically to only fly Delta. So knowing that, I don't have a lot of the American Airlines or United cards. I don't have lots of hotel cards. So I stick to Chase and Amex because they're transferable points. And so I think it's really important that the first thing you do is determine what it is you really want from this, because that's going to really help you limit all your credit cards options and like take this really complex thing and just simplify it. So for example, like if you like United and you're just like, I'm going to fly United and Star Alliance all the time, you get all their credit cards in Chase because Chase transfers to United. If you only care about domestic flights and economy, stick to Southwest, JetBlue. Well, you can really stick to any airline, but like my mom loves JetBlue. It flies to my sister. She only flies JetBlue. She literally just puts everything on her JetBlue card. They don't really travel much. If they have to go somewhere internationally, I give them the points. So that's like what my mom has, right? But if you love hotels, go with that brand, So it's just about narrowing the cards. But the other thing that's really important in determining your goal is narrowing it, like in this example. You want to go to Japan. We all want to go to Japan, right? Who wants to go to Japan? Raise your virtual hand. I mean, cannot wait. And let's say you've been dying to fly Japan Airlines business or first class. And so then you got to think, okay, well, Japan Airlines doesn't have a card and they don't transfer it to anybody. So how am I going to get there? Well, they partner with American Airlines. So in this case, you would then say, okay, since I want to fly Japan Airlines, I need to focus on American Airlines points. Then you would get all the cards for American Airlines and the Marriott card, because that transfers to American Airlines too. And that's where you would focus your spending on, focus your card getting on, and that's really it. And so rather than thinking about all of these cards and just like, oh, there's a great sign-up bonus, I'm going to get this card and this card and this card and this card, you're just narrowly focused on the cards that get you to your goal. And so I really think that's the important step one. And you really want to pick the best credit card. Can you hold on just 1 second? Okay, sorry. So picking the best credit card, that matches your goals is very, very important. And so what do I look for then is get the cards with huge sign-up bonuses. Get the cards that have an additional category bonus, and get the cards with a low minimum spend. So in our example, you would want to get the American Airlines cards that is not just like you spend $1, you earn a point. You want a cards that gets you like 2 to 6 points per dollar spent. And we'll talk more about that a little later. Because this thing doesn't work if you're only getting 1 point per dollar spent, right? Because you spend 100 grand to get 100 points. Like, how many years is it going to take most of us to spend $100,000 on a credit card? A very, very long time. And so this, between the sign-up bonuses and the point multipliers, that allows you to reduce the amount of spend that has to happen on the card. And try to get one with the low minimum spending, right? So you're not really hooked on all these cards and all these sign up offers that you need to then like spend lots of money on. Most cards are like a few $1,000s in a 3 to 6 months period. And for most of us, we can do that. But we'll talk about ways how to like bake spending in a little bit. All right. A question we always get is about annual fees. Are these expensive cards worth it? I believe they are if you're a heavy user of that card. Because the fees do add up, right? And so I would say that whenever you look at annual, the way to think about an annual fee is that you're paying for that bonus in the first year, right? So every card is worth it in the first year because you're getting this huge bonus of cash. Even if you have to get the Chase Reserve and it's $500 a year, you're getting 50,000 points and all these category bonuses. Well worth it. You basically paid $500 for a couple of flights. But is it worth it in the second year? That depends what your goals are and if you're using that card a lot. For example, I have a IHG card. IHG is like Holiday Inn. Never stay there. Holiday Inn, Crown Plaza, that kind of, those brands. Never stay there. But the card's only $45 a year and it comes with a free night. So essentially, for me, it's essentially once a year I stay at the Crown Plaza for $45 instead of like $100. Because part of travel hacking is not just free, it's about reducing your overall cost of travel. So I view it as like it's a gift certificate. I put $0 per year on that card. I just use it for that free night. On the other hand, once I really stopped flying American and I knew I didn't really care about American points or American partners, I got rid of all those cards. They just weren't worth it for me. So annual fees are always great the first year. In the second year, you just have to realign, think of your goal. And you can cancel a card, or you can very often, they'll just move you to a no fee version of the card, or they might waive the fee for a second year, or they might be, hey, listen, like if you stay, and you spend $500, we'll give you like an extra 20,000 points. Erica's nodding her head because she's done this many times before. Same with me. I'm like, oh, okay, I'll do this. Because people worry about like if I sign up for all these cards and I have to cancel it, it's going to really hurt my credit. But really, what's important is keeping your credit to debt ratio. And so if you can transfer that credit line to another card in that issuer family and you preserve this credit to debt ratio, that's more important than anything else, right? So oftentimes I just canceled an Amex card I just never use. But it had like a $30,000 credit limit. Why? I have no idea. Amex tends to give me high limits. But rather than taking that credit ding, I just moved that credit onto a different Amex card I planned on keeping. And so like to the credit reporting agencies, my credit limit has not changed. It's still the exact same thing it was. It just shifted. And so, there's my friend Gary Leff, who runs View from the Wing, always says, what's the point of a credit score if you're not going to use it, right? The point of having a good credit score is to get the good cards and to be able to do all this stuff. So don't really feel that like this is not going to hurt your credit in any way, shape, or form. Would I go get 5 cards right before I was about to apply for a mortgage? Wouldn't do that. But because you don't want to have all those things right before. But if you do it like 6 months before, that's fine. You've built this score, use it. Or if you have poor credit, there's no silver magic bullet. But here are some of the things you can do to rebuild your credit, including getting your secured credit card. Every bank in the world has like something for low credit score folks. So just call your bank and ask. Second, as I flip through this PowerPoint, please don't worry that about anything. You'll get a free sort of version of this after the call, so you can, don't feel the need to write down everything and be like, it's gone forever. No, you'll get this later. All right, so I need to just get some water for a second. So let's talk about earning points. And so you have your cards, you got your goal, you got your cards. Bonus category spending is the most important way to earn points, because you want to be able to use every dollar effectively. That's why most people have multiple cards, right? Because one card is good for one thing, one card's good for another thing. So you generally want to look for a card that's 2 to 3 points for a restaurant, ideally 3 or 4. The Amex Gold has 4. 3 points on airfare. Category spending on restaurants, on grocery stores and gas. And so going back to your goal, think of where do you spend your money, right? It's like, so if you get a car that has a great category spending gas, but you don't drive, that's sort of useless, right? So for me, one of the reasons I love the Amex Gold is because I eat out of the restaurants a lot. 4 points per dollar spent. I love the Chase Sapphire Reserve because I can get 3 points on that and 3 points on travel. I love the Chase Freedom Unlimited because of the grocery store spend, and the quarterly 5% back. So you kind of want to, when you're earning points, think about where do you spend the most money to ensure that you get the cards that are going to be most useful to your spending. Always shop online through an airline portal, or hotel, or Chase. Chase has their own portal too. So you can use this for every reward in Cashback Monitor. Whenever I need to go buy something, I'm like, okay, I need to go buy, like, I just had to go buy some clothes. I've run out of socks. The gremlins always steal my socks. I have no idea where they go. Like, I literally just bought a whole thing in the summer, and like all my white socks are already gone. So I went to Cashback Monitor, and I was like, listen, I just need to go to Target. It's pretty easy. It's just gym socks. But what portal is offering the biggest bonus for Target right now? And so I went there, and I turned out that Delta had a good one for J. Crew. And I was like, well, I need to buy some shirts too. So I'm just going to do it all at J. Crew. And I got 3 points per dollar spent. So now, on top of my regular credit card spend, let's say you spend $100, I get 100 points. But now I'm getting 300 Delta points too. So I got 100 points on Chase and 300 on Delta. So you want to use these portals as a way to multiply your spending, because you can really stack these over and over and over again. Right now, Delta is offering tons of points if you use their card, because they really just want you to use their cards. So I use my Delta card because I was getting 5x points. Plus, they're doing for every $1,000 you spend on your card, you get 500 extra points and 500 elite qualifying miles. So I didn't spend $1,000. I typically do it a month. So for calculations, I get my original 1,000 points. I now get 3,000 points because I went through the airline portal. Plus, I'm getting another 1,000 points because I'm doing it during their seasonal bonus. So for $1,000, you get 5,000 points, right? So that is the kind of cool perk these things offer. And next, sign up for dining reward programs. Not a lot of people know about this. We all know about the shopping portals because they just, every time you log into United, they're like, have you shopped with us lately? But the dining reward program through Rewards Network is amazing. You basically register your credit card, and you can only do one. So once you pick one card and one loyalty program, that's what you're getting. So you sign up for one card, and every time you eat out, if it's part of the rewards network, you get bonus points. So signing up and just, I mean, everyone's pretty much involved in this, right? So you just, every time you eat out, you're just earning extra points. And so, and that's on top of, let's say you were having a Chase card and you're getting, or an Amex, and you're getting 3-4x restaurant points, you're getting extra points to your loyalty program of choice. And so it's just a way to always be earning points, extra points per dollar. Never just get one. Going back to this, so the Chase Inc. business is basically 1 point per dollar spent for most purchases. But if I go buy office supplies, I got 5x points. So I will often go buy gift cards so to get 5x points and then just spend down the gift card rather than just get 1 point on the Chase, right? So we get 3x for flights, but and there's some business points I can't pay when a gift card for, right? But if if we're all at TravelCon together or something, I usually go buy a handful of gift cards beforehand because I want that 5x. I don't want that 1x. So it's all about multiplying your points. And there's all sorts of little things you can do, right? So you can take surveys through these websites. They'll give you points that you can redeem for cash back or loyalty programs, points, gift cards, right? So you fill these up, you redeem your points for, a Delta gift card, right? So you just took surveys to get a Delta flight. I always pay my taxes online. This is one of the reasons I actually don't let the government take a lot of money out during the course of the year, because I actually want a tax bill in April. I mean, I hate a tax bill in general, just who likes taxes, right? But, rather than give the government an interest-free loan, I would rather owe them money. So then I can go, in this example, pay a $10,000 tax bill on 2 cards and, pay the 1.8% fee. And basically, as this example shows you, for $188, I now have 110,000 points, which is like multiple business class flights. All for 188 points because you didn't let the government take your money in advance. So, lots of travel hackers I know claim, try to get the lowest taxes through the year and then pay it all at the end in a tax bill for this. And then this is another way to sort of manufacture spending, right? So we're not going to go really deep into manufacturer spending because that's a talk in its own. But by doing this, you can meet the minimum spending requirements without being like, well, I have to go spend $3,000 now, right? Because you don't make money on this if you have to spend money to do this. So holiday season, great time to get a new credit card because you're going to be spending money anyway. So why not time a new credit card for like a big purchase? Going to buy a new computer, I get a new credit card. Got to do holiday shopping, time for a new credit card. Got to pay my taxes, time for a new credit card. Lots of new credit cards in my life. And in the book, we'll send you after this, we'll go into a little bit about how to use gift cards as a way to sort of buy a bunch of gift cards, cash them in, and then pay off your credit card bill. But that is, we learned last time, you get really bogged down in process, and we have to show you out in visually. So that's in the free PDF we'll send to you. But really, travel hacking made easy, and this is really what I want to do is make this easy for you all. Is first, get your finances in order, pay off any debt that you have, determine your goals, find the credit cards, hit the spending, and keep spending. When once you determine your goals, you can figure out where to keep the spending on, right? Because like, okay, you're gonna have to spend on all these different cards to hit up the sign-up bonus. But after that, what do? You want to figure out what cards keep you aligned with your goal and only focus your spending on that, because you don't want to spread yourself out too thin, because if you have points here on Amex and Chase and Citi and Capital One, and they don't all transfer to each other, you have a lot of points, but you can't use them. And so people spread their stuff themselves out too thinly most of the times. And then searching for redemptions, consolidate your points. So again, this would go back to like, okay, it's time to book. Who am I going to book with? Well, I have a lot of Amex points and I have a lot of Chase points. And I want to fly Singapore. Well, look, both of those companies transfer to Singapore, so I can transfer the points to Singapore Airlines or Air Canada and do that redemption. And so, consolidating your points you don't want to spread yourself too thin. And so, before we take questions, there looks like there's a lot of questions. I can see the little red counter going up. We do have this book that we have on travel hacking. It's 142 pages. If you want it, don't buy it now. Buy it next week, because when it's Black Friday, it's going on sale for $5. So, but it's 42 pages. We walk through things, and it comes with free email coaching from me if you need it. So save this URL. We'll send you a free PDF that's a little bit more detailed than this PowerPoint. Today, I mostly wanted to really talk to you and answer your questions more than just drone on and lecture. But the free PDF will have a lot of information. But if you want to go even more and really go more in depth in mastering travel hacking, we have this 142-page book that really walks you through everything you ever need to know, including one hack I discovered this year: how to use online poker sites to manufacture spending, and it's legal. So you can, and how to use PayPal to just cycle money through your bank and just, get lots of points. That's all in the book that you should buy next Wednesday when it goes on sale for Black Friday for $5. And then thank you for attending. Me and my little furry friend say hello. I'm going to take all your questions. So I'm going to stop the screen share. Erica will come back on and I'll answer all your questions.
Amazing, Matt. I just wanted to share personally. So I've been working with Matt for 7 years now. And when I first started working with him, I learned about travel hacking, and my credit score was totally shot from stuff I'd never looked at my credit score before. And so my very first credit card was a secured credit card through my bank that I had. And at this point, 7 years later, I think I've opened at least 25 credit cards with Matt's help, and I've flown all over the world. I've flown my friends, my boyfriends, my family all over. I only use it for cheap flights. I don't do anything fancy like first class or hotels or anything, but it's gotten me around the world for so cheap. So I'm so glad that you were able to share this with more people, Matt, because I feel like it's very life-changing, and I always try to change people into travel hackers. And I'm so grateful that you guys are all very interested in it and showed up today and brought some awesome questions. So I just wanted to share that testimonial. Real life, 7 years, 25 credit cards, lots and lots of free flights. So
you don't need to have 25 credit cards too. It just, once you become addicted and you realize how the system works, you just end up getting a bunch because you know how to like cancel them and change the credit line. I mean, I have a whole jar of them. They don't have any fees. They just sit there because I'm keeping the credit line.
Oh yeah, I've never paid a credit card fee, and actually I just got my husband his very first Chase Sapphire Preferred travel hacking card, and we're doing it specifically so that we can go visit his family in Ghana next year. So we've like calculated exactly what we need to get to exactly where we need to go. And so that is something that I know Matt stresses a lot. Just don't get random credit cards. It's better to like get something with a purpose. And so that's exactly what we did. Okay, so we have tons of questions, so I'm just gonna start with them. Matt, and I did drop the link for the free travel hacking guide. It's just a few comments up, so if you scroll up, you can see that and you can just get that. Also, it will be included in a follow-up email. Tristina is wondering, can you explain how an upgrade would work using points? I'm assuming that would be on a plane.
Yeah, so a lot of airlines will allow you to do an upgrade via, like, say, economy to economy plus. You can only do one class of service. So if you bought an economy ticket and the next class of service on your flight is economy plus, then that's the only thing you can advance to. But they all usually do it. You just call up the loyalty desk and say, hey, I'd like to use some points. How much is it going to cost me? So it all changes through the airline, and everyone has different policies. Some will let you do it all points. Some will make you do points in cash. You have to figure out on that airline, but they all let you do it. So just a matter of calling.
Wonderful. And then we have a question from Brian who's asking, do you have any tips for Canadians and which credit cards offer the best points? I know you have a favorite website for Canadians. Can you share that?
Yeah, so Canada, in the Canada market, Aeroplan, which is the loyalty program for Air Canada, just came out with a bunch of new cards through TD Bank. So I would look into those because they're just brand new cards, big bonus offers. So like when a card is just first offers, it's also one of the best times to get it because that's usually when they offer like the biggest bonus. Two good travel hacking websites in Canada are princeoftravel.com and canadiankilometers.com. So I don't think Jeff has updated his website in many months, but Prince of Travel is really good.
Okay, wonderful. And then JR is saying his main goal is to get airline miles. He'll be exploring Southeast Asia in 2021, starting in May for a year. Is there a specific card that he should be opening up, or what strategy should he use? And which would be your first two cards to open up, if that was your goal?
What airline was it again? Sorry.
Just airlines for Southeast Asia. So he wants to get to Southeast Asia and then I guess around Southeast Asia.
Yeah, so if you don't really care about who you fly. I mean, everyone goes to Southeast Asia either through them or their partners, right? I wouldn't do Delta, mostly because they take a lot of points to redeem. Call it Sky Pesos. But so I would then like look at, who has a bigger bonus right now, American Airlines or United? Because then I would just start getting points in that one airline alliance and then just keep earning those points and then redeeming it. So I would start there, then keep spreading out.
Okay. And then we have a question from Karen who's asking, she has a Costco card with cash back. So how she does it is she gets her cash and then she saves that money for her next adventure. Is that a good strategy or a bad strategy? And is earning points better?
So I think this goes back to your goals, right? So I like points and all that stuff. So for me, that is more important than cash back. Whereas someone like my mom, who doesn't really travel a lot, she really likes cash back. So there's a commotion going on outside. So, I think if you don't travel a lot, cashback might be better. But if you are a heavy traveler, you'll get more mileage out of your points. Because if you think of cashback, you're getting like 2% on a good day. You spend $100,000, you're getting $2,000, but 100,000 points, or more can get you a lot more than $2,000 worth of travel.
Yeah, there is definitely an art to redeeming points too. So cashback is really great if you just want the point to penny ratio, but Matt has taught me so many different creative ways to move around points so that you're maximizing what you have. So that's the trade-off.
I mean, if you're not a traveler, I mean, you wouldn't be here if you weren't one, but if you're like my dad has a cashback card because he just doesn't travel. He's just like, I just want cash. I'm not using points. So
yeah, it makes sense. Jeannie is asking, she has a family of 7. And so she wants to know what's better for large families who need lots of hotel rooms, miles or hotel points. And is being loyal to a hotel brand worth it?
If you are staying in hotels with that many people, you definitely want hotel points. I would sign up for one brand and then stick to it because you're going to want those bigger room upgrades, right? So, if you're, diamond with Hilton, you're going to get those suite upgrades, and that's going to allow you to squeeze more people into a room, so you spend less on the room and thus save more money. And so, if you got all the Hilton cards, for example, right now, you'd probably get close to 400,000 points from them. But their reward card, which is their premium card, which is $450 a year, comes with automatic diamond status, which gets it it gets you free breakfast. So rather than having to feed 7 people, you can just get free breakfast. But it also comes with room upgrades and lots of them. If you're loyal to, because if you're flying 7 people, you're buying the cheap seats anyway, right? So I would get hotel points for that. And as you said, you're specifically looking at Hilton, and right now they're offering crazy 6-figure sign-up bonuses on their cards. So that would probably be the one I would look at.
Awesome. And then we have a question that says, can you recommend a rewards card for people with lower credit?
Capital One is pretty good in the sense that they tend to approve people, in the good range. And now their venture card has transfer partners, so you can use it as cash, or you can transfer it to other people. So I would start with them. But Chase, Citi. Citi is a good one too. They do people in the 600 range. So Capital One or Citi are 2 issuers that are good.
Great. And then we have a question from David. He says, after getting my Chase Sapphire Preferred card without a problem, I've been turned down for a few cards 3 times, even though my credit score is over 800. They cite different reasons that seem bogus to me. Do you know what he could do to remedy that with Chase, or should he go to a different card?
Have you gotten more than 5 cards in 2 years? Type that in the chat.
He's only gotten 1. He's only gotten his Chase Preferred.
No other credit cards ever. You can call up for the reconsideration line. It could be your credit score. Yes, Jared, all this information is in my book, and more. But I would call their reconsideration line and ask. They're usually they're a specialty department that just deals with this, and they'll usually give you a straight answer. But if you only ever had one credit card in your entire life, and they keep changing the answer, and you keep inputting the same information, I would just call and find out what the deal is.
There is a chance that it could be because he doesn't have a home base or a home address. Is that something that you found to be a problem with like nomads trying to get credit cards?
Well, yeah, you have to definitely have to put some residence there. So when I was traveling, I just used my parents, but like a PO box isn't going to cut it. I mean, whatever, your account has some address associated with it. So I would just keep using that same address.
Great. Anu Prati is asking, can you suggest any travel cards for Indians? And do any of these things that you were talking about, like swag bucks, work for Indians as well?
I don't know of any cards in the Indian market, and I don't know of any travel hacking that really happens in that market. There might be some cash back, but you know, you might be able to get, you know, a local bank to give you their version of like Amex points. But none of these card issuers are there. So as far as I know, there's really is no travel hacking market, so to speak, in India, but I could be wrong. I just don't know it, and I haven't heard anybody ever talk about it either. So unfortunately I can't help.
And then following up on that, do you have any tips for UK citizens?
Yeah, my favorite website is headforpoints.com. I think he does the best job at sussing out credit cards and credit card points.
Okay, wonderful. And then we have Ryan who's saying, are mileage runs still a possibility in this day and age with airlines? Because he's seriously considering one post-pandemic.
A mileage run is when you're flying to get a status, right? Like they're offering some crazy deal, and you're like, I'm gonna circle the globe and get 10x points and all my statuses. Now that all the airlines are rolling over all your status points for next year, I don't think it's like a really good thing unless you then plan to fly a lot. I wouldn't really do it because they're being so generous now with all the points that, I mean, it's not really worth it because it's only going to really count for your status this year, but they're rolling over that anyway. So, you know, I don't think they're as good anymore now that you don't have as many cheap flights.
That makes sense. All right, Susan is asking, she has credit with Alaska Airlines from canceling her trip back in March, and they've offered to change her credit into points, and she's not sure if that's a good idea. Can you explain when that would be a good idea and when it wouldn't?
I don't really think that sort of how many points are they offering, and how much is the credit for? Because what they're basically asking is, will you buy points from us? Because then we need cash, right? Like we need money. Points, like we'll give those away for nothing. So buy points for us. So like, you know, if you're not getting a lot of points for your dollar, I wouldn't do it. If let's say it's $100, you know, you really want to buy points at like 1 cent. So like you'd want, I think that's 10,000 points. I'm not good with math, but you'd want like 10,000 miles for that, right? Or 1,000 miles. Which 1 cent times 100? 1,000? Something like that. Anyways, you want a lot of points, needless to say. So I wouldn't give up your cash if they weren't offering a good multiplier.
Good point. Okay, Liz is asking, do you use plastic, and is it also worth it to pay, student loans and mortgages and rent off of plastic?
I don't use plastic. They charge us a fee, and I think they've become more onerous in the last couple of years. So, I don't. You have to pay a fee every time you use your card, and that's not really worth it. Even our friend Stefan, who finds every way possible to pay a bill through a credit card, doesn't use them as much.
Okay, that makes sense. I'm just rereading the question that I'm going to ask. So Tristina's asking, I have been able to redeem lots of gift cards to Amazon and REI through Swag Bucks. Whenever I want to sign up for something anyway, like a free trial of a certain brand, I check Swag Bucks. Sometimes there are huge points bonuses without doing anything but clicking through Swag Bucks to get to the sign up page. Are there any other tips for using Swag Bucks that you use?
No, that's, Swag Bucks is pretty good that the way you've described it. And, I haven't used Swag Bucks personally a lot in a while. So I'm not super versed on what they're doing at the moment, but, using them the way you use it is how I use it, so.
Okay, wonderful. Ryan is asking, are there any travel hacking suggestions specifically for Delta Airlines? It's one of his preferred airlines, but he never seems to be able to make it to the silver medallion status or rack up enough miles despite taking multiple flights for the last 4 years.
So Delta really likes people who have their credit cards. So do you have their credit cards? That's what I'd want to know as a follow-up question. Do not. So that's really the best way to go about it, because they're like silver card will get you all the perks of having silver status. And you'll, through the sign up bonuses, you'll get elite qualifying miles. You can buy lounge access with that card. And yeah, so you definitely always want to have the credit card of the company you travel with. So, because the saved bag fees, the upgrades, like the lowest tier credit card that airlines offer usually equals in perks to the lowest tier frequent flyer program that they have.
That's awesome. All right, there you go. New credit card to get, Ryan. Jeannie is asking, do you have any advice for gaining extra points when staying in Airbnbs? Is Delta the only choice when it comes to that?
Beyond the normal credit card spend, the Airbnb Delta partnership is the only one I know they have, which allows you to link your Delta account with Airbnb so that when you stay at an Airbnb, you get Delta points.
Okay, wonderful. Will is asking, any recommendations for someone who has never had a credit card and is a beginner traveler as well?
If you've never had a credit card, I'd probably start off with like a Chase Sapphire Preferred, or maybe a Chase Freedom. Those are really good, easy to use, low fee credit cards that have a good, just have a lot of points per $4 spent. They're easy to use, no fuss, no muss.
And then Liz is asking, as a follow-up question, I've always been a loyal Chase Ultimate Rewards gal. Should I expand my horizons to Amex? And I can see people post about the 100,000 and 125,000 platinum targeted offer, and she wants to know if it's worth taking that leap.
Oh yeah, definitely worth taking the leap. For 100,000 points, anything is worth taking the leap. But going back to your goal of what do you want, and you don't want to spread yourself too thin, right? So I would definitely jump on it for the welcome bonus, because 100,000 points can get you a lot of stuff. Whether you continue on or not is really up to you for your goals, but you do in your what your spending is. It's good to diversify, especially if there's a big bonus.
That makes sense. That makes sense. Gloria is asking, I often see great sign-up bonuses on business credit cards, but she's retired and she doesn't have a business. So my question is, does a person need to have a business to qualify for a business card? And are business cards worthwhile?
Yeah, so you don't need to have a business to be a business, right? You know, think of like a lot of people are just sole proprietors. So like, what's your business name? It is your name. And you just started out. And so, you know, you don't need to have a business to get a business card. They'll ask you for the business name and some information, but you can just write your own name in, you know, pretend you're starting a business. So, yeah.
Okay. And then Achilles is asking, is there any way around the credit card annual fees?
So eventually you'll need to pay a fee for one card, right? At least one card. But for the most part, if you have a card that you're no longer using and you don't want to pay the fee, call up and see if they can switch you to a no fee version of that card, or we'll like waive the fee for one more year. And if not, I would just cancel that card and change the credit line to something else. But any card in this space is going to charge you an annual fee.
Okay. Ryan is asking, roughly speaking, how many miles would I need to have racked up for a round the world long-term trip?
Oh, I don't really know off the top of my head. That would depend on where you're going, you know, what airlines you're flying. Most airlines don't really offer a lot of good miles round the world tickets anymore. One World had one years ago that they just removed, so it really varies now. It's like at least like a couple 100,000 points.
Okay. And then does canceling your cards affect you in many ways?
So canceling your card, you know, really only affects your credit score because you see a temporary ding. But as I said, you know, the biggest part of your credit score, you know, the thing that matters the most is your credit to debt ratio. And so, you know, if you have 3 cards with Chase and you want to cancel one of them, try to move that credit to another card so you maintain the same credit balance, I would say, you know, same credit limit with Chase. But still, you know, it's not gonna be like 5 years from now, people are gonna be like, you can't get this house because 2 years ago you canceled the credit card. It's canceling it is a temporary ding. What's more important is, do you pay your card on time, and what's your credit to debt ratio?
What about credit history, like the length of your credit cards? Should you keep open like your oldest credit card as long as possible?
Yeah. I mean, that you know, is really, that stuff has a positive impact on your credit score. So if there's no fee, just keep it open. I mean, I have a Capital One card I've had for 20 years. I don't even know where it is. Probably doesn't, but the credit line is still there. No fee. So
Blake is asking, if a credit card has a minimum yearly income threshold to qualify, but I don't meet it, is there any downside to still applying? What are the odds that I'd still get approved if I have a good credit score and income to debt ratio?
pretty high.
That you would get approved?
Maybe I misunderstood the question.
So basically, they don't meet the minimum threshold for the yearly income, but they have a good credit score and they have good income to debt ratio or credit to debt ratio.
I've never seen a card require a yearly minimum. It's more like, obviously if you have a huge income, they'd like it, but I've never seen someone denied because you don't make them enough money a year, or at least putting in that like, don't apply unless you make X amount of money per year. But I mean, it's not like they're looking at the W-2 form, is it? So just saying.
You're winking. All right. uh, Jeannie is asking, I read recently that if you cancel a card too fast, some of them will take back the miles. Is that true?
Once you've earned them, they're yours. But you'll lose them if that's the only card you have in that with that company. So, for example, if you open a Chase card, get a bunch of miles and cancel the Chase card, Chase will close your mileage account too. But if you have another Chase card, it all goes into the same pool, so they'll stay.
All right, that's cool. Matt, how do you get started travel hacking?
There was a credit card in like 2006 where you're getting like 2 thank you points or whatever per dollar, and I just kept racking them up for a free flight, and then I really never did anything with it until I started blogging and really learning about all the points I was missing out on that first year of travel.
Makes sense. And who are some of your favorite travel hackers to follow?
I like bench slapping from 1 Mile at a Time, Johnny Jett. Johnny Jett's not so much a travel hacker, but Gary Leff from View from the Wing, Mommy Points, who works for the Points Guy. The Points Guy does a lot of good stuff. That company, it's more than just one guy now, so they have a lot of good reporters there. Their airline staff is really strong. And what's Stefan's website again? Rapid Travel Chat.
Awesome. David is saying that Amex actually wanted to verify his income by having him release his IRS records to them. Have you ever heard about that before?
Oh yeah, I mean, you must have got really snagged up in some fraud thing where they thought things were fraud. I wouldn't do that. I wouldn't give a bank that stuff. I would just be like, no, I'm not going to do that.
So this is David from before who was saying that Chase wouldn't give him another card. Should he just go to a different bank?
Yeah, I would just go to a different bank.
Yeah.
Probably there's got to be, if Chase is asking you for like your tax returns, they must think there's some sort of fraud going on there. But I wouldn't give anybody my tax returns. Not for a credit card.
Got it. What is one of your best redemptions that you've ever done, Matt?
I have flown Japan Airlines first class, and that was really cool.
Do you remember how many points?
It was like 100,000 points.
Oh, not many.
And then I flew ANA first class too. Those were 2 good ones.
And how much are first class tickets on those flights?
Tens of thousands of dollars.
And that you probably got in like 2 sign-up bonuses.
Yeah. I mean, that was 2000. That was when I went to Japan in 2017.
That's incredible. I mean, I think that one of the best things about travel hacking is that you can actually attain things like this. Like, people are budget travelers and they're still going in first class flights to Japan that cost tens of thousands of dollars, and you're probably sitting next to like famous people and super rich people, and you're just there because you took a little bit of extra time to like read up on how to earn some points and miles. It's not like you got a big fancy job and all this stuff and actually could afford to be there, but you get the experience of being there and it doesn't cost you much. So I think that's one of the best parts about travel hacking. Like, you could do it for these, cheap flights to just get a lot of little cheap flights, or you could really treat yourself and, act like a superstar and like, I don't know, take your husband somewhere for your 20th anniversary that you would never be able to afford otherwise. So If you have a crazy story like that, drop that in the chat too, because I'm curious.
Yeah. I mean, Lufthansa first class is awesome too, because you get your own private lounge and they give you caviar. And they fly you a plane in a Mercedes. But yeah, I mean, I've sat next to like execs, and I roll in literally with my backpack coming from a hostel. I go from a dorm room to eating caviar and being driven to the airplane and in my own car. And I got a backpack, and they're like, "This guy is weird." I'm like, "Points. It's still budget travel, right? Budget travel is about getting value for your money and reducing the cost of travel, and I'm doing it. You're doing it."
I would also say that like the lowest barrier of entry for me that makes me feel so fancy is the lounge access card that are, priority pass that you get just for getting a credit card. You have access to all these lounges all over the world. And, that's something that all you have to do is get a credit card for it. You don't even need to earn the sign up bonus. You just need the credit card and you get the priority pass. And then you can go and spend hours and hours eating free food, not paying for food and lounges. And that's just amazing, right? I know you've been to some great lounges, Matt. Okay, so let's see. We have Jeannie saying, I feel you about points and miles lost. I actually worked in reservations for a major airline, and we had to offer the card with every card, but I never really thought about getting one myself because I had flight benefits. I never thinking about being able to use them for other carriers or to get to other countries. Oh, that's so sad. Okay, sorry. There wasn't really a question there, but now you know. Now you know. All right. It says, and then Diane has one that says, I have 2 Chase credit cards, 830 score, plenty of money in the bank at Chase, 5% credit card usage of available credit limits, and got denied by Chase for a business credit card with my newer LLC. I think Chase is being a bit wonky during COVID. Have you heard about that?
Yeah, they started getting a lot tighter on applications since COVID. Well, especially Chase, who is always tight, mostly because they're worried about people losing jobs and not being able to pay back their debt.
I see. Okay, so if there are no other questions, then I will wrap this up. Oh, we have one question coming through from Blake. I fly often to Germany. Which airline, Blake, where are you located? Because they're asking which airlines or credit cards should she or he look into? Canada. From Canada to Germany.
You're probably, if you're going from Canada, you're looking at Lufthansa, Air Canada, and so that's Star Alliance. So if you got Air Canada points, they would work on either one of them because they're the same alliance. Okay,
great. And then Tristina's asking, which credit cards do you know give the priority pass access to the lounges and not just like 2 Delta passes a year, 2 United passes a year?
Usually the Chase Sapphire, the Amex Gold, the Amex Platinum, a couple of the city ones. A lot of them offer priority pass. That's a perk for many, many cards.
Okay, wonderful. So I'm dropping the link in for the free travel hacking guide once again. And you can email Matt with any questions you have that don't get answered or that you run into as you're doing some more research for your travel hacking. So don't worry about that. And before we go, I just wanted to share my screen once again so that I can tell you what's coming up with the Nomadic Network. So give me a second. Hold on. Okay. Can everyone see this? Yeah? Okay, wonderful. So I did see in the chat that a lot of you are new to our event. So I just wanted to let you know that at thenomadicnetwork.com/events, you can find out all about our upcoming events and RSVP to them. And then show up and learn and listen. And it's really great. So we have anywhere from 2 to 5 events a week. This week we have a lot. Tomorrow we actually have 3 events going on. One is all about Nomadic Matt's nonprofit Flight, which sends high school classes overseas for the first time so that they can expand their learning. And tomorrow we have the executive director, Carmela, and a different Erica, who is actually the teacher for the upcoming trip coming on. So if you're feeling like you want a little bit of travel inspiration and you want to have your heart warmed a bit, this is always a good place to go. Our Flight nonprofit is just doing incredible things. And it's really great to hear somebody like a teacher from an actual school that gets to bring their students abroad to just like rejuvenate your wanderlust and your love for the world. So I highly recommend coming to that. Also, we have a happy hour for California residents tomorrow that you can sign up for. And we have tomorrow night, David, who is actually on the call today. He's going to be talking all about retirement on the road. He has been nomadic for the last 4 years of his retirement, and he'll be calling in from Hawaii tomorrow night. We also have a Paris event. So for those of you who are in the Paris chapter, you can go next Saturday and talk about the 2020 lessons and your 2021 hopeful travel plans. And that's a way for the Paris chapter to connect. And then on December 1st, I know we took a little bit of a break for Thanksgiving, but on December 1st, we have how to better plan your future trips. So that's going to be a really exciting one with Rachel. So you could sign up for all of that at the URL at the top. Again, we'd love to invite you into our Patreon community. We have a lot of fun. If you want more high touch access with Nomadic Matt and the team members, and also people that just like really believe in our mission, this is the place to go. You can find it all at patreon.com/nomadicmat. Plus you get a lot of perks that come along with your membership. So we would love to have you with us there. And then last but not least, I just want to say thank you so much for being a part of our travel community. I say this every time, but these events are just the highlight of my day, of my week, of my COVID experience. And so I've heard that a lot from you guys too. And it really does have to do with you guys showing up, bringing your questions, bringing your curiosity, bringing your enthusiasm. And I can't be more grateful for this travel community. And, in saying that, also grateful for Nomadic Matt for starting this whole community for us to learn from each other. And so I just wanted to say thank you for being here. I'll send you a follow-up email tomorrow with the free travel hacking guide if you haven't gotten it yet. And then Matt, would you like to say anything to close it off?
Thanks everyone for joining us. Really appreciate you being here. We'll send you a follow-up email, as Erica said, and get a credit card. Going into the holiday season, now's a good time to get it. We'll send you a link for all my favorites too, just so you have it.
Wonderful. All right, have a great day, everyone. Bye.
Bye.